Welcome to the Deconstruction Deep Dive.
The show that doesn't just accept the stories we're told about how the world works.
We break them down piece by ruthless piece.
We examine the fragments, the bits of truth and falsehood.
And we expose the machinery hidden inside every single dominant narrative.
Let's dive in.
Okay, so what if everything you think you know about this whole dopamine detox thing, what if it isn't just like flimsy science? What if it's actually engineered, designed to fail you while making sure the guru profit?
That's precisely what we're digging into today. This isn't about mild criticism, not just poking holes in some wellness trend.
No.
We are taking a scalpel to what looks very much like a sophisticated confidence game. And it's built on, well, really shaky neurobiology and some clever narrative tricks.
Right. The promise is huge, isn't it? Cognitive liberation, incredible discipline, freedom from, the digital noise.
Yeah, the chains that bind you.
But when we apply our four-lens deconstruction protocol, looking at the science, the psychology, the strategy, and the liberation angle,
what you find is it's kind of an ideological Trojan horse. The freedom it offers, it demands total submission right now to the person selling the rules.
So our core thesis, it's pretty hard to avoid, really.
It is. This looks like a modern grift. It weaponizes pseudoscience, mixes it with those really tempting self-help ideas.
And the goal.
To make you dependent on the guru, on their system, not real sustainable autonomy for you, the individual.
We're going inside the machine today, pulling apart the dogma, mapping out the business model behind it. Let's start with the science, or the lack of it. The assault team goes first. Because to make this grift work, it has to sound smart, right?
Exactly. It needs that veneer of credibility.
Okay, so for this whole movement to even get off the ground, it needs to look like it's standing on solid science.
Absolutely. But the moment you push, even gently,
it just crumbles.
The whole thing collapses. The science is the smokescreen. It's the first hook to establish authority.
And it works because it relies on this massive oversimplification of the brain.
Huge oversimplification. We call it the reductionist fallacy. They take this incredibly complex system, human motivation, and boil it down to one chemical, dopamine.
It's always dopamine. If you feel bad, too much dopamine, want to feel good, less dopamine, simple.
Yeah, it's like brain chemistry for beginners. Grade school algebra level. It completely misses the mark.
And the proof they always trot out is that rat Gasm study, right? Or at least their version of it.
Oh yeah, the infamous rat study, where researchers stimulated the pleasure center, the nucleus accumbens, and the rat just kept pressing the lever.
Ignoring food, water, everything. Just kept going for that jolt until it collapsed.
And the guru's takeaway is, see, you're that rat. Social media likes sugar, video games. That's your lever.
But that analogy, it just doesn't hold up for humans, does it? Or even for, current neurobiology.
Not even close. It fails spectacularly. With this whole mechanical idea, this depletion model.
Yeah.
Like, your brain is just an on-off dopamine switch.
It ignores everything that makes us human.
Exactly. The prefrontal cortex, executive function, and crucially, what dopamine actually does, which isn't just pleasure, it's about reward prediction error.
Okay, wait, let's pause there because this is critical. This really dismantles their whole premise scientifically. For listeners who've maybe heard the buzzwords but not the details, why is focusing just on pleasure or even depletion so wrong for dopamine?
Because dopamine isn't really the pleasure chemical. It's more the motivation chemical, the seeking chemical, the learning chemical. It's not the high you get when you get the reward.
It's the drive before the reward.
Precisely. It's the anticipation, the push to go get the reward. And that's where reward prediction error, or RPE, comes in. Understanding this just blows up the whole detox idea.
Okay, unpack RPE for us. Give us the core concept.
Sure. In simple terms, your dopamine neurons fire most strongly, not when you get exactly what you expected, but when the reward is better than expected. That's positive RPE.
Ah, okay. Surprise bonus.
Right. And conversely, if the reward is less than you expected, or doesn't show up, dopamine levels dip. That's negative RPE. The whole system is basically a teaching signal for your brain.
Telling you, do that again, or nope, that wasn't worth it, try something else.
Exactly. So like the classic monkey experiments. You pair a light with juice. Pretty soon the monkey's dopamine fires when it sees the light, not when it gets the juice.
Because the dopamine system has learned to predict the reward. It's shifted to the cue, the seeking part.
Precisely. Now, the detox people, they preach depletion. Starve the system. Eliminate all stimulation so your dopamine resets and, doing your taxes suddenly feels thrilling.
Which sounds unlikely.
Because it is. If dopamine drives seeking and learning, depleting it doesn't magically make you disciplined. It more likely makes you, well, inert, less motivated to tackle hard things like starting that business or learning that skill they promise you'll achieve.
So their proposed fix, starving the system, actually undermines the very drive you need.
It denies a fundamental adaptive part of your biology. It's a flawed model.
And here's why this really matters to you, the listener, if you're looking for better focus or trying these methods. This simplistic model ignores how complex you actually are.
Right, so when the simple fix inevitably doesn't work, when the detox doesn't magically transform you overnight.
You feel broken. You think, what's wrong with me?
Exactly. The guru has already set it up, so the failure is yours. Your lack of willpower, your moral failing.
Yeah.
Never, ever a flaw in their bogus reductionist model.
And this whole narrative floats on nothing, really. The evidence gap.
It's vast. Look, if this was a genuine scientific breakthrough, if fasting from TikTok was truly the key to human motivation.
You'd expect studies, right? Clinical trials, peer-reviewed papers, other labs replicating it.
Of course. But what do you find? Silence.
Complete silence.
Outside the guru's little bubble, the content is purely self-referential.
Guru A quotes Guru B.
Who then links back to Guru A's earlier video, or maybe their paid course. It's totally insular, a dogma you can't challenge because there's no external validation.
They claim scientific authority, but they prove it with YouTube comments and circular logic.
Yeah, our analysis is pretty blunt here. The neural model they're pushing, the simple depletion and reset idea, wouldn't pass muster in a basic neurobiology class.
Yet they package it as the secret key to, what, trillionaire status or monk-like discipline?
It's pure scientific smokescreen, designed to give false credibility to what is essentially a confidence game.
Okay, so the science is, frankly, bunk. The brain's way more complex. Dopamine is about seeking not just pleasure hits, but the simple story is appealing. People must know, deep down, it's not that easy, so why buy in? The hook can't just be logic.
Exactly. It's not logic. That brings us to the real payload they're delivering. It's the story.
Yeah, right.
So once they've thrown up that scientific smokescreen, even if it's flimsy, the next job is to build trust, like deep, intimate trust, and establish an authority you just don't question.
This is where the narrative really takes over, the PSYOPS, if you will.
Exactly. We need to map how the story itself is built. It's deliberately crafted to make the guru seem relatable, then infallible, before they ask for your complete obedience.
And it often follows this predictable pattern, a kind of Messianic structure, 3 phases usually. It kicks off with what we call the fallen guru phase.
Yes, the strategic confession.
Yeah.
Sharing some, highly relatable weakness. Manufactured vulnerability.
You hear the stories all the time. I was addicted to video games. I couldn't stop looking at porn. My business totally failed. I was lazy, unfocused.
They drop the shield, but only for a moment. It's calculated to build rapport, to signal, hey, I get it. I was down there in the muck, right where you are now.
It's powerful, isn't it? Weaponizing their own past failure. Saying, I understand your struggle because mine was even worse.
It creates this incredibly strong bond based on shared suffering, a really potent psychological lever.
But that vulnerability, it doesn't last long.
No, it's strictly conditional, highly temporary, because it immediately shifts into phase 2, the revelation phase.
The moment of enlightenment.
Right. Through some random event, a friend's casual comment, reading one specific book, maybe a walk in the woods, they discover the detox. And notice, it's always presented like the truth, with capital letters.
Not just a helpful idea or something that worked for me.
Never. It's the single salvific protocol.
Yeah.
The thing that saved them, transformed their life instantly, fundamentally. It's positioned as an absolute exclusive key to existence.
Which instantly elevates them, right? They go from being your struggling buddy in the trenches to, well, an anointed prophet.
Exactly, which leads directly into phase 3. The ascension phase.
Okay.
So the person who was just admitting their rock bottom addiction or failure, suddenly they transition. They become the infallible expert. They achieve these hyperbolic, almost unbelievable levels of success.
That's where you get the monk-like discipline, the 8-figure business in 3 months, or those totally wild claims of reaching trillionaire status.
The message couldn't be clearer. My special protocol works miracles, and look at me. I am the living, breathing, perfect proof.
And that ascension, that's crucial because it completely flips the dynamic.
Completely. The rapport you felt, built on that shared vulnerability, gone. Instantly replaced by this position of unchallengeable authority. And you, the listener, are left thinking,
wow. If they could do it, starting from way down there, I have to do exactly what they say.
Precisely. It creates that need for their guidance. And this structure naturally flows into the final phase, the evangelical phase.
Right, because it's not enough to just sell a method, it's a gospel.
They have to spread the word. And part of that involves pathologizing everyone who hasn't adopted the protocol. They get labeled inferior or lacking discipline or just not awake yet.
Creates that us versus them vibe. In-group, out-group. Reinforces the pressure to join and comply.
And let's dig into the language they use, because it's not accidental.
Yeah.
The linguistic manipulation here is key to getting that submission.
It's not just descriptive language.
No, it's designed to be transformative. We call it hypnotic terminology. They don't say, I took a break from distracting apps. They say things like, I achieved cognitive liberation, or this led to neuro-optimization, or dramatically, this protocol literally saved my life.
Wow. Yeah, very high-stakes language. It promises spiritual awakening, ultimate discipline.
All delivered through a simple biological hack. They tap into that deep, human-feeling existential dread, the stress of modern life, the search for meaning, and tell you the cure is just turn off your phone for a week.
Enlightenment through subtraction. It sounds so easy.
And the genius, or maybe the malice of how they build their authority, lies in that transfer, that initial vulnerability, sharing the addiction story. That's just the bait.
Once they have you hooked with rapport,
Bam. The authority flips instantly to infallible expert, and this mechanism creates an immediate need for you to submit. You feel you must follow their specific, rigid, proprietary rules exactly as laid out.
because their public story failure, then conquest via this specific method seems to prove they're the only ones who know the secret path out.
It becomes a closed loop. Psychologically, I was sick. I found the only cure. Now, you must obey my instructions perfectly or you'll stay sick forever. You get tangled up, dependent on the source of this supposed cure.
Okay, so we've picked apart the shaky science. We've mapped the manipulative story they tell. Now let's get into strategic command. Let's look at the money, the incentives, the internal contradictions that really expose what this is truly about.
Right. We need to trace the money and the motivation. It means carefully deconstructing the stated function of their tactics versus the actual function. Because when you peel back the layers of their business model,
Everything points one way.
everything, it's not designed for your liberation, it's designed for their sustained audience capture and ultimately profit.
Let's use a concrete example. You see this all the time, the Easter egg email. The guru sends out something like, hey everyone, just for fun, I hid a secret link to an exclusive video somewhere in this newsletter. Find it quick before it disappears.
Yeah, sounds playful, right? The surface function is presented as, oh, this is just a fun game for my community. Builds loyalty, engagement.
But the actual function.
It's ruthless data harvesting, for one. Tracking clicks. But more importantly, it's behavior training. They are literally training you to obsessively open their emails, click their links, search their content, prioritize their stream above everything else.
Creating a little dopamine loop directed right at their brand.
Exactly. It's dependency creation, happening in real time, disguised as a game.
And similar tactics, like when they say, smash the like button, hit subscribe, join my exclusive Patreon community Discord. The surface reason is...
Community access, support, get more value.
But the actual function...
It's gaming the algorithm. It's audience capture. They need their content constantly prioritized in your feed. They want their system to become the main channel in your life, effectively replacing the very low-level digital vices they claim they're saving you from.
Which leads us to the biggest strategic deception of all. The dopamine detox protocol itself. The stated function is what? Cognitive liberation. Reset your brain, fix your attention span.
But the actual function, it's dependency transfer, shifting your reliance directly onto the guru and their ecosystem.
Now that is the critical point. The protocol doesn't actually free you from needing an external system or authority figure to tell you what to do.
Not at all. It just redirects that need away from, say, scrolling Instagram or playing games.
And directly onto the guru's specific brand, their specific rules, their specific methodology. You end up addicted to the protocol itself.
Right. Addicted to the rigid rules, the exclusive community forums, the check-ins, the guru's validation. You become dependent on the infallible expert who supposedly holds the only key.
And they often reinforce this with gamification within their paid stuff, don't they? Proprietary apps with streaks, badges, exclusive levels, special rituals you have to perform.
Absolutely. They just swap out your general platform-based addiction for a very specific proprietary addiction that they manage and monetize.
Which brings us crashing into this massive, unavoidable contradiction. The method-message paradox.
Oh, it's glaring. The guru preaches this life of low dopamine calm. Discipline, quiet focus, mental stillness.
But how do they sell you that message? How do they build their audience and make their money?
With pure high dopamine tactics. Think about the style. Screaming headlines. Hyperbolic claims, trillionaire status. 100x your productivity overnight.
Urgency and scarcity, only 3 spots left in my elite mastermind. Act now.
Rapid-fire video editing, constant cuts, aggressive, nonstop content schedules. These are classic attention-hacking methods. They're deliberately triggering the exact neurochemical excitement they tell you is ruining your life.
In order to sell you the cure for it.
It's an engagement trap. Built using the very psychological architecture they claim to hate, the method completely undercuts the message.
It replicates the exact same Skinner box design. The obsessive checking, the variable rewards. You've just traded scrolling Twitter for obsessively refreshing the guru's course portal or watching their latest scarcity-driven webinar pitch.
The addiction isn't gone. It's just been neatly redirected to their brand ecosystem, structured for their maximum gain, not your freedom.
And this whole structure, it plugs right into bigger power dynamics, doesn't it?
Absolutely. This guru industry, it's filling a vacuum. Traditional authority figures, religious leaders, community elders, even stable institutions, they've declined. People feel anxious, adrift, overwhelmed, looking for answers.
And the guru steps right in, offering a quick fix, a biological explanation for existential angst, solution selling for the soul.
And if you look at it through, say, a Foucaultian lens, it's a perfect example of biopower. Modern power isn't just about overt force anymore.
It's about managing populations, managing life itself, managing health, productivity.
Right. And here, control is exercised by managing your internal state, your neurochemistry. You're taught that your feelings, your anxiety, your lack of focus are just bad chemistry.
And that chemistry can only be fixed, balanced, optimized if you follow the specific proprietary system laid out by the expert guru.
It turns self-discipline, which used to be maybe a philosophical or moral pursuit, into a technical problem with a purchasable solution. It reinforces a system of control that's cleverly disguised as personal empowerment, as liberation. Now, to really get a grip on why this dopamine detox narrative is so deceptive, we have to zoom out, put it in historical context, because this isn't some radical new idea.
It's old wine in new bottles.
Exactly. Old cages, just with a fresh coat of neurobabble paint.
Yeah.
We see these control mechanisms reappear throughout history.
Okay, like what? Let's draw some parallels. That relentless push for monk-like discipline in the detox world, the austerity, suffering now for future gain, denying small joys for peak productivity.
It mirrors Calvinist Puritanism almost perfectly.
Oh, so?
Well, the Puritans believed worldly success and wealth were signs God had already chosen you for salvation, predestination. So you had to work tirelessly, deny yourself pleasure, prove your worthiness through suffering and productivity now.
For that future reward. Whether it's heaven or, in today's version, that 7-figure business or trillionaire status.
The underlying structure suffered today. For a guaranteed payoff, tomorrow it's identical. Just swap divine grace for dopamine balance.
Okay, that's a strong parallel. What about the brain hacking aspect? The obsession with optimizing every second, squeezing maximum output from your neurochemistry.
That maps directly onto Taylorism. Scientific management from the early 20th century factory.
Frederick Winslow Taylor, right? Timing workers, breaking down tasks.
Treating humans like machines. Studying them to find the one best way to do everything, purely for maximum efficiency and output. Taylorism was about imposing external control to optimize workers.
And the dopamine detox?
It's Taylorism turned inward. Self-Taylorism. It demands you apply that same mechanical, output-obsessed view to yourself. Optimize your internal state, eliminate all wasteful activities like relaxation or simple pleasure, all in the name of productivity.
Which connects to that broader productivity obsession driving people toward these solutions in the first place. It feels like it plugs into the old Protestant work ethic.
Absolutely. That deep-seated cultural idea that your moral worth, your value as a person, is tied directly to your economic output. If you're not constantly productive, you're failing. Not just practically, but morally.
And the dopamine detox just gives that old guilt a new, shiny, pseudoscientific justification. It's not sloth anymore, it's unbalanced neurochemistry.
Exactly. But the pressure is the same. Now, the good news is we don't actually need these gurus and their simplistic, often harmful frameworks. We have thousands of years of philosophy offering much richer, more nuanced ways to think about this.
Philosophers strike back.
They do. Let's start with Aristotle. The detox pushes this extreme asceticism, total denial, harsh abstinence.
But Aristotle's idea of a flourishing life eudaimonia wasn't about extremes, was it?
Not at all. It was about the golden mean, finding the right balance. Virtue lies not in denial or excess, but in moderation. He'd see the detox as extreme austerity as a vice, just as much as uncontrolled hedonism is a vice.
So instead of a rigid no pleasure rule, Aristotle would say, distinguish, find the right amount of the right kinds of pleasure.
Exactly. Tailored to the individual and the situation. Wisdom lies in that balance, not in a one-size-fits-all deprivation protocol. The detox offers this false choice. Total submission to pleasure or total denial. Aristotle offers nuanced wisdom.
Okay, what about the mechanical view of the brain the detox relies on? Input X gives output Y. Fix the chemistry, fix the person.
That's where existentialism offers a powerful counter. Think Sartre, Camus. Their core idea, existence precedes essence.
Meaning we aren't born with a fixed nature, like a machine with a manual.
Right. We aren't just biological machines needing hacks. We are conscious beings who create our meaning through choices, actions, commitments. The detox tries to strip away that agency, that freedom, that responsibility.
By reducing complex human problems, anxiety, lack of meaning, procrastination, to just faulty chemistry.
Yes. It shrinks the vastness of the human condition down to a simple biological checklist you can supposedly fix with a 7-day fast from YouTube. Existentialism reminds us we're more than just our dopamine levels.
And there's another ancient school, often misunderstood, that seems relevant, Epicureanism.
Hugely relevant. Because the detox sets up this toxic false dichotomy, productivity versus pleasure, as if they're always enemies.
Epicurus gets wrongly painted as just being about pleasure-seeking.
Totally misunderstood. Epicureanism actually gives us the very tool the detox lacks, a way to differentiate between types of pleasure.
How so?
Epicurus distinguished between pleasures that are natural and necessary, things like friendship, simple food, health, satisfying work, peace of mind.
Things that actually sustain you.
Exactly. And pleasures that are empty or artificial, things like fame, excessive luxury, status symbols, mindless consumption. These, he said, often lead to more anxiety and dissatisfaction in the long run. They're addictive but unfulfilling.
So Epicurus gives you a framework for choosing pleasures that lead to genuine tranquility, ataraxia, rather than just chasing fleeting highs or denying pleasure altogether. You don't need a guru's $1,000 course for that.
Precisely. It removes the false choice. Now, all this philosophical grounding helps us see the biggest blind spot in the detox narrative, the individual system paradox.
Meaning it focuses entirely on the individual.
Relentlessly. It tells you, the listener, that your lack of discipline, your burnout, your inability to focus, it's all your personal failing, your fault. You just need to fix yourself.
While completely ignoring
The massive systemic pressures. It never mentions that our economy often thrives on anxiety to fuel consumption. It never acknowledges that social media platforms are intentionally designed by armies of engineers to be addictive, to capture your attention for profit.
The guru acts like you exist in a total vacuum where the only thing that matters is your individual willpower against, say, TikTok.
Exactly. And this ties into Mark Fisher's concept of capitalist realism. The idea that the system becomes so pervasive, we can't even imagine alternatives.
And worse.
System failures get reframed as individual problems.
Perfectly put. Widespread anxiety, burnout culture, attention spans shredded by predatory algorithms. These are arguably systemic issues, but under capitalist realism, they get pathologized. It's not the system that's sick, it's you. You have anxiety disorder. You have ADHD. You need to fix your dopamine. So the detox becomes the perfect solution within that mindset. It keeps the focus on fixing the individual while leaving the anxiety-producing attention hijacking system completely untouched. It ensures the conditions that create the demand for gurus remain firmly in place. Anxiety drives consumption of the cure, not resistance against the cause.
And thinkers like Adorno warned about this, right? This relentless focus on optimization, productivity, the straight-line approach to life.
He argued it leads to spiritual impoverishment. When everything is about maximizing measurable output, you lose the messy, complex, spontaneous, often unproductive parts of life that actually make it rich and meaningful. The detox is just another tool asking you to self-optimize for the demands of the machine.
Okay. We've dismantled the flawed science. We've mapped the manipulative story arc. We've exposed the predatory economics and the historical precedents. Time to synthesize. What is the core ultimate deception being sold here with the dopamine detox? When you boil it all down, the codified message they're delivering, usually wrapped in high emotion, is this: your complex struggles, Your lack of focus, your anxiety, your feeling of being overwhelmed. It's not complex at all. It's simply a moral failing, a biological flaw in your dopamine system. But good news. I, the guru, have the proprietary scientifically proven cure. Follow my exact rules, submit to my system, and you'll achieve sovereignty through submission, liberation, through my dogma.
So they present themselves as the key master, the liberator. But the price of that freedom is chaining yourself to their specific, rigid, pseudoscientific rules.
Precisely.
Yeah.
The final analysis. The protocol doesn't actually get rid of the cage you feel trapped in. It just repaints the bars a different color, gives you a new guru-branded set of rules for pacing inside it, and then keeps selling you the key over and over again.
You're still operating within a total system of external control. It's just run by a charismatic individual you pay instead of a faceless tech platform.
Which is why the whole point of this deep dive isn't just critique. It's about equipping you, the listener, with a resistance methodology, the cognitive armament you need to defend your own mind against this kind of grift architecture.
Step one has to be self-trust rehabilitation.
Absolutely. Crucial. You have to start reclaiming your own internal authority. Stop outsourcing your thinking and your self-worth to external gurus promising these easy one-size-fits-all fixes. Your life is complex. Your challenges are nuanced. They require your wisdom, your experimentation, your custom solutions, not some rigid, off-the-shelf biological diet plan someone else invented.
Then developing pattern recognition, seeing the template.
Yes. Once you really internalize the architecture we've laid out today, that sequence of manufactured vulnerability, then the Messianic ascension, the dodgy science, the high dopamine tactics selling low dopamine life, the dependency loops.
You'll start seeing it everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Not just in wellness, in self-help, in business coaching, in political movements, in content marketing, across the board. It's a universal template for monetizing modern anxiety. Spotting the pattern is the first step to disarming it.
And using philosophical grounding as a defense.
Right. When someone hits you with an extreme denial-based solution like the detox, immediately pull out that Aristotelian golden mean. Ask yourself, is this balanced? Is this sustainable for me in my life? Does it actually address the root cause, maybe the systemic pressures? Or is this just another form of self-punishing austerity that's likely to lead to burnout and make me more dependent, not less?
And the final piece, autonomy reclamation.
Yes, consciously rejecting anything that creates dependency while pretending to offer help. Real empowerment gives you tools, skills, insights that you own, that you can adapt, modify, maybe even teach to others eventually.
Grifts, on the other hand.
Grifts demand perpetual reliance. On the proprietary system, the exclusive paid community, the infallible expert leader. If the solution requires constant payment, unquestioning obedience, and speaking only in their special jargon, it's not liberation. It's just a fancier cage. And that's our deep dive for this week.
Remember, the most dangerous illusion is the one you don't know you're in.
But now you know. So here's our question for you to chew on. Where will you spot this exact deception playing out in the next 24 hours?
Yeah, think about it. In the news you read, in an ad you see, and maybe even in a conversation you have. Once you see the pattern.
You really can't unsee the system behind it.
Let us know in the comments. Question the narrative, deconstruct the dogma, see the system.
We'll see you next time. Stay skeptical. Thank you for joining us.